You are now tuned in to the hottest podcast in the world with your host, Lamar Champmaker Wright.
Welcome back to Everyday Talk. I am your host, Lamar Champmaker Wright. Listen, guys, we went to Mott Library in Toledo, Ohio, and we were asked to come there. Everyday Talk was asked to come there to teach kids in our community how to podcast and how to run video. I don't know nothing about running video, so my buddy who organized it, named Gutter Dave, he actually showed the kids how to video. And I actually, along with myself and Steve-O, showed the kids how to podcast. A lot of these kids were interested into it, and actually a lot of them were pretty good at doing it. I was actually shocked. I was like, wow. What impressed me the most about these kids, man, to be around the 10, 11 age group, some were younger, how intellectual they all were, and it just blew me back how smart they were and the things they were able to read and comprehend and the stories they were able to tell from the books that they were reading just blew me back. I enjoyed donating my time, giving my time to the community. It's something that after doing that, it's something that I definitely want to do many more times, just to be out there interacting with these kids and giving them something to look forward to and being a positive influence. So after teaching and training them about on how to video and podcast, we actually let them do a podcast show. I need to do more training because the first time we did it, the mic was not properly connected and it didn't record. Well, it did record. It recorded off the phone, but it wasn't good audio to put out for you guys. So what we did again was, we just let them introduce themselves. They talked about their interest, and myself and two other adults asked them questions that parents always wonder, and they did a great job. And I see why that show used to be on TV. Kids say the darndest things because they just cracked us up with the stuff they were saying. So take this time and listen to the Real Kids podcast show as it's coming to you next. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening. Coming up next, the Real Kids podcast show.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hi, my name is Maddie, and I'm 10 and a half years old, and I really like gymnastics, too, because I like to do flips and try to, advance myself and do things that are higher than my level to try to make it more difficult for me so I can get better. And I like watching Simone Biles and Gabby Douglas on TV when they do the Olympics because it's really fun. It's really fun to see them do all of the cool flips and dances that they can do. And I want to be like both of them when I grow up. And I also want to be a baker. A baker.
Oh, a baker, okay.
Do you have superpowers like Simone? Can you flip around?
Yeah, I can do a back handspring. I can do a back handspring, and I can almost do a back tuck.
Oh, you're getting there. Cool. That's awesome.
I actually had a question with all you guys. I already did a podcast about this. Why do kids like watching mukbangs? Okay, answer that. Matt is going to answer. Why do kids like watching mukbangs?
Because like when they smack and like that, it's kind of like satisfying because you get to like hear it. It's kind of like ASMR. It's a thing where people like eat things and they get close to a mic like that one and they're like just eat and shrimp and crab and all that different stuff. It's kind of satisfying. That's why I like it.
I do not know what's satisfying about that is. I don't. Do you watch mukbangs too? Why do you watch them?
Because the noise and everything.
So my daughters had my wife buy $50 worth of crab, and they tried it. Didn't turn out too good though, because they ate rare crab. They only boiled it for like 2 minutes. So, you like them? What about you? Do you like mukbangs?
No. Because it's annoying.
It's annoying to you.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Do you like mukbangs?
No. I feel like someone crunching a chip in your ear would not be satisfying. No.
What about you, Olivia? Do you like mukbangs?
I've seen it one time. It's not satisfying. No.
Another question I have for you kids. Why do you like watching other kids like play the game? And you guys got the same exact game that you can play, but you rather watch someone else play it.
It's just funny to see their reaction. It's funny to see like the reaction and like how they play it.
Even better at the game.
But what if you're actually better than a person and you just spent 2 hours watching a person play that you were actually better than in the first place?
Well, then you would have just liked the thing that you were just watching.
So you wouldn't have wasted any time? You wouldn't have wasted any time at all? No?
Just like to see what they're gonna do. Like if you're better than them, then you want to see how they do it. And then maybe you could get some tips and pointers.
Did you hear the question? The question was, why do you guys like watching people on YouTube play video games that you can play already?
So I could know how to play, and so I could basically get in the game without reading the instructions, so I could skip straight through.
Okay. What about you? You got a comment on that?
I like watching them play because if the video game's super hard and you didn't know that, you would just played it and you would die and die and die over and over and over.
What about you? You got an answer or a comment on that? Of why do you guys like watching people play games on YouTube when it's a game that you could play yourself? Hold on, come up to the mic.
Because if you have the game, then you can learn how to play it. Like they all play in different styles. So I can try and play in that style and win more games of that game. Random game.
Another question. Why do you guys watch I'm only asking about everything I see my kids watching. Do you guys watch those people scratch lottery tickets too? Huh? Do you do? On YouTube? Yeah, like there's people that they'll buy like $300-$400 worth of lotto tickets and scratch them. Yeah. Okay. Another question. Why do you guys like watching people play with slime?
I was just making slime before I came here. It's satisfying and it's fun.
Everything is satisfying.
I know, because like when you feel it, it's like fun to poke it and like stretch it and make bubbles. Well, yeah, but like if you didn't know how to make slime or like a certain kind of slime, you can watch somebody else make it.
Yeah. What about you? Do you watch people make slime on YouTube?
Because I feel like all the colors, it's just beautiful. I like colors in general, besides brown. Because slime, they can make slime at different colors. Huh? I don't like brown anything. I don't know why. I just don't like brown at all.
Alrighty.
Pop quiz. Name one professional gamer.
Typical gamer.
Name one professional gamer.
Ninja.
Corey X Kenshin.
Daquan.
Ready? One professional gamer, go.
Gaming with Kev.
And finally,
Dan TDM.
okay. Second question. Other than our current president, name one other president.
Obama. Martin Luther King. I don't know.
George Washington.
I forgot his name.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Something Lincoln.
Something Lincoln.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Hey, we're almost tied up. You guys know your presidents almost as well as your professional gamers. Well done, everybody. You got a question for anybody? You got a question?
One pop quiz question for all the kids. We're gonna start with you. What's one thing that your parents do that gets on your nerve?
Doesn't let me watch TV for a day.
What about you? One thing your parents do that gets on your nerves?
Ground me for no reason. Ground me for no reason.
What about you? One thing your parents do that gets on your nerves?
I don't know.
Nothing your parents do get on your nerves? You just saying that because your parent looking at you? On you, buddy. What's one thing your parents do that gets on your nerves?
Yell at me.
Yell at you? What about you, cameraman? One thing your parents do that gets on your nerves?
Turn off the Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah. That's a killer right there.
Yeah, I actually play with my kids. Like, they'll all just be tucked in the room. I remember I was saying this, and I'll go to the Wi-Fi box and unplug it. Next thing I know, I hear chairs falling, doors opening. Like, hey, what's going on? Don't mess with the Wi-Fi, huh?
That's why if I get a phone, I'm just gonna have data on it, cause if that does happen, then I'll still be able to do anything.
One last question. This should be a good one. Since everybody in here is familiar with phones or have phones, this is a serious question from a kid's perspective. Do you think kids should have phones? Do you think it's safe or unsafe, or what's your opinion on that? Should kids have phones, or should they be a certain age?
I think kids should have phones so if they lost, they can call their parents.
Okay, that's a good answer. Anybody else?
I don't think you should have a phone until you're a teenager because you're not responsible. You got to show responsible first.
It's a good answer. What about you?
It's half and half for me because it's good, like, if you ever get into a bad situation, then you can, like, call your parents. But it's also not safe because there's certain apps that, like, kids can get hurt and, like, kidnapped on. So it's, like, half and half.
Okay, and what about you, Olivia?
I think you should wait until you go into middle school because if you're on the bus and somebody breaks into the bus and you need to call your parents, but in grade school you don't need it because you could just like walk home or something.
You gave your answer?
I feel like kids should. I'll take it. I feel like kids should not have phones because some kids just do it to make new friends. I feel like if you want to make new friends, go out. Just and some people, like this is really serious. Some people die off of like technology and stuff because they would stay on it 24 hours, like a year. And never get off, and they would die. I feel like that's not right.
I got a question for you guys. Which one do you get upset at when your parents tell you? Do you get upset when your parents tell you to go outside or go to your room?
Outside.
Which one?
Go to your room.
Neither. I like going outside, and there's a lot of stuff I can do in my room.
Neither for me too, because I also like going outside, but I feel like I can just go to sleep in my room.
It's a 50-50 because I like outside, and if I get sent to my room, I either have my tablet in there or my iPod.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting at. So when we were growing up, your parents were growing up, if we had to go to our room, that was a punishment. And if we weren't allowed outside, that was a punishment. Like, I remember getting up at 8 in the morning waiting to run outside the door. I mean, you guys love your rooms, you love your technology, now you love inside the house. All right, we appreciate you guys tuning in with Everyday Talk Podcast. These were the kids at Mott Library that we were teaching how to podcast and video. The Real Kids Show, make sure you guys check them out. They might be coming to a platform near you.